Hey everybody, Whiteboard Wednesday, and back in grade school we had Schoolhouse Rock, and you guys remember the bill, right? I'm only a bill. I'm not singing it, by the way, but I want to talk about our Secure the Border bill that we passed a few weeks ago. That's just sitting in the Senate right now, and because oftentimes the media kind of gets it wrong, and I think some of them need a civics lesson. So we're going to talk about how a bill actually becomes law in the United States Congress. Of course, it gets introduced. If it gets introduced in the House, it starts here and it goes to committee where there's debate. Oftentimes, amendments added to that bill. It gets refined there. It gets voted on, and if it passes in committee, then it goes to the floor of the House. If it passes the floor of the House, then it goes to the United States Senate. Of course, if it fails on the floor of the House, the bill fails, and the bill dies. Sad, right? Especially if it's your bill. But anyway, if it passes, it goes to the Senate. And the Senate committee, the relevant committees there, entertain the bill, they put amendments on it. If it passes without changes, then it goes to the floor of the Senate. And we'll come back to that in just a moment. If it passes amended, it also goes to the floor of the Senate. And if it fails, it dies. So on the floor of the Senate, if it is unchanged from the House version of the bill, then it goes to the president. If it passes in its amended form from the Senate committee, it goes to what's called a conference committee, and that's sort of a blend of House members and Senate members who sit together to have this agreement to make the bill ideal for everyone. It's a compromise at that point. From there, after conference committee, it goes back to the floor of each. They vote on it again. And if it passes in that form, it goes to the president. Of course, a bill can fail in the Senate after it passes the House. And if that happens, well, sadness again, the bill dies. Of course, if the president then acts on a bill that reaches his desk, he can do a couple of different things. He can sign it, and then that bill becomes law. Hooray. If he vetoes the bill, then the House can choose to override that veto. So can the Senate, right? And it takes 2/3 of a vote to do that. If it passes the override, what goes to the Senate? They vote. If it passes there, it becomes law. And again, that takes 2/3 of the Senate as well. If it fails in a veto override, the bill dies. Same in the Senate. Now, if the president basically does nothing, he's inactive, lets the bill sit there, and the Congress is in session, then it automatically becomes law after those 10 days. If he doesn't do anything, it sits there, and Congress goes out of session, the bill dies. So that's how a bill goes from someone's idea, either in the House or the Senate, to becoming a law or not. That's Whiteboard Wednesday. And oh, by the way, that Secure the Borders Act has gone through the whole process, and it's sitting waiting on Chuck Schumer and the leadership in the Senate to do something for the American people. Come on, Senator Schumer. There are people dying because of this fentanyl crisis. There are cities all across America that are screaming, enough is enough. Democrats, go watch the news reports. Let's do something. Let's secure the border.